Good morning and welcome to Saturday's special of Dr. Lamba's Awakening Quote. Gita is revered as a religious discourse, and then research shows that it is not only a religious discourse, it's much more. For a long time it has been deemed to be a treatise on management, which it is, of course. And that's why it's prescribed as a reference book for the management students in diverse universities and various universities. But its relevance to the science has not been appreciated. It was way back in 1956 that I was receiving my father, who was coming from Helsinki, after being the chair of the World Religious Conference, and we met in London. One evening we were sitting with Bertrand Russell, and Russell addressed me, young man, do you study physics? I said, yes, as part of my curriculum, I do study physics. Have you studied Gita? Yes, I have. Don't you think physics is interpreted in Gita absolutely? And if you know Gita very well, you know physics very well. This sent a wave of, shall I call it, either that the great philosopher is gone bonkers, and then the second wave, that this man doesn't talk anything which is meaningless. There must be something which we have missed, most of us. And then I found, after my rereading Gita, and then studying the laws of physics, where there was a lot of things, many aspects of Gita that were relevant to science, or rather they were the base of physics. The connectivity between Gita and physics has not been revealed, but it is there. Try learning superficially and you will find both Gita and philosophy will elude you. Physics and philosophy you don't mix. But then that's a superficial reading. You read them thoroughly, and then you understand that this science, physical science, does not preclude its connectivity with philosophy that is ingrained in Gita. There's no need to go to the forest to understand a book of philosophy. You can do it at home. We live in a society, and what is good for it can be done and experimented right here. The concept of indestructibility is a basic concept of physics. Matter can neither be created nor destroyed. And do you know that indestructibility, the concept, occupies a significant space in Gita? In Bhagavad Gita, the soul is described as indestructible. In physics, Einstein's relation between mass and energy stress, both are indestructible. And what is energy? That is soul. So indestructibility, the concept that the matter can neither be created nor be destroyed, is transferred. I will come to the aspect of transformation shortly. The difference is not conceptual, but the difference of the concept of indestructibility is based on reason and experimentation in physics. And it's a statement in Gita. Gita is not a textbook that has to explain. It is basically a reference book. And once a thing is referred to, it moves on. It's like encyclopedic information. It is up to you to do the further research. So indestructibility is the basic of science, physics, and so is it of Gita. The second aspect, which is common to both, is, which is suggested earlier, phase transformation. In Gita, it is described that the body transforms and passes through different phases such as birth, childhood, adulthood, old age, and death. And each phase has its distinctiveness, its characteristics. Childhood is characterized by tenderness and curiosity, wonder, why. Adulthood exhibits action, dynamism, energy. Old age shows maturity, compassion, and also decay. Now look at physics. Look at any matter. Any matter undergoes phase transformation. Changes from one state to the other, from solid to a gaseous via liquid state. In a liquid state, in addition, there are instances of order-disorder transformations. Often physicists predict some exotic states, which are neither gaseous, nor liquid, nor solid. And those exotic states, their sustainability depends on how long they engage the mind and experience of the physics and other related science. Now, isn't that a thought which has its embryo, its root in Gita, but has fructified after centuries of research and work in physics? As I talked of childhood characterized by tenderness and curiosity, adulthood by action, dynamism, energy, and old age by maturity, compassion, and also decay. Solids are identified by their rigidity. Liquids and gaseous are characterized by their fluidity. All these states have their respective equilibrium phases, and they are free from external and internal forces. Sometimes these states are disturbed naturally or artificially, and the purpose is to explore something new. So the connectivity between Gita and physics is not just a matter of conjecture. And then it's not the end. According to Bhagavad Gita, the equilibrium state is sati pragya. There's a state in life. It's a force-free state, the ultimate state. And once a person reaches that state of mind, he is automatically enlightened. He conquers the duality of life. However, secluded enlightenment is of no use. Like germs in a deep state, or flowers in a vast desert. Maybe it purifies the soul. However, it's of no use and is not dedicated to society's welfare. So the equilibrium state is a state of non-practical existence. The Gita talks about things small and big, static and dynamism, one and many, light and darkness, infinites and zeros. And when you study physics, don't you think statics, dynamism, energy, light, darkness, infinity, zeros, they are the base, are the essential ingredients of physics. Physics without light, darkness, interaction, infinity would not be physics. And physics is one of the most exact physical sciences. The only again difference is, there is a difference, that Gita talks about them, but doesn't provide evidence of that. Physics talks about that and also provides evidence. And that evidentiary thing, as I said earlier, is Because when you study physics, you are studying it as a course. Gita is a reference course, is a root, is the embryo. And when a thing is in an embryonic state, you have got to go and explain it after research. This is the crux which is forgotten, but the roots are there. Now many physical ideas, the ideas belonging to physics I mean, originate from conjectures and hypotheses. We know in science it's hypothesis, it's theory, and then it's law. And a hypothesis becomes law only when confirmed by evidence through experimentation and reasoning. And philosophers and Gita, that's why they emphasize reason. The reasoning aspect, the Gita's discourse, when Lord Krishna recited Gita, he was reasoning. He was saying, look here, you are hesitant about fighting your relations, here your enemies. But do you think you can destroy soul? Ultimately, that's indestructible. And Gita emphasizes principles of creation, preservation, and annihilation. These are the basic principles. And physics is also based on these aspects, the principle of creation, preservation, and annihilation. Both physics and Gita deal with many body systems. You see, when you talk of in empirical terms, the body systems are the most important. And when a book of philosophy, religion, or management talks of body system, and a book of physics talks of body system, the connectivity clearly shows, the linkage clearly shows. For example, in Gita, the explanation between Sat and Asatya. And Gita says Satya never ceases to exist, implying it's a reality. And Asatya has no existence, so it's imagination. In a similar way, in a similar fashion, physics too handles real and imaginary concepts and arrives at meaningful conclusions substantiated by observation. But then, is that enough? Look at the Newton's third law of motion. Every action has an equal and opposite reaction. And what is the theory of karma? Basically, you sow what you reap, or rather you reap what you sow. You take one action and the reaction would be there. The same concept of karma, translated in different language, becomes the Newton's third law of motion. That clearly shows the connectivity in the thought pattern. The thought pattern of Gita is reasoning, logic, which is the thought pattern of physics and exact science. However, there are clear-cut boundaries between the two, and it should not be blurred by too much of correlation. And the boundaries are very clear, as I said. Gita is a reference book, a compendium of base knowledge. The further research and amplification has to be done by you. The convergence is that both evoke deep thinking, and when they evoke deep thinking, they cause you to explore further. They are the source of eternal excitement. Gita has not lost its relevance over the last 5,000 years. And physics, laws of physics, whether it was Archimedes or Newton or Einstein, are relevant even today. So, the eternal excitement, the only thing is the interpretation changes, the manifestations change. But the basics remain the same. And sometimes we cloak them, we hide them, we present them in a different manner. There can be parable, there can be allegory. Or there can be a plain statement of hypothesis. Gita has that concept. Karma, indestructibility, phase transformation, energy, light. All that which is basic to physics is ingrained in Gita. The main thing is you have got to see and interpret it the way you want, a way your reasoning and logic leads you to it. A reference book is for you to dwell on, to think about, to contemplate, to reason logically to the end. And if you can do it, Gita and physics teach you the same thing. The only difference is that till now Gita has been cloaked and presented as a religious book. And now the various manifestations of Gita are being propounded, explicated and explained. And this interpretation of Gita as the base material for physics shows that a new discipline can be there in academic institutions which studies the correlation essentially between religion, philosophy and natural sciences. And that will be an exciting interdisciplinary approach. Thank you.